Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Earl, thank you for coming on today, dude. I really appreciate it, the time.
No problem.
How's your time at Sturgis been so far?
It's been interesting, second year here. Got to know some amazing people and was lucky enough to be invited back. And once again, having a blast.
Well, we have a mutual friend, and we'd be doing him a disservice if we didn't talk about our guy, Todd Bailey.
Yes, hey, one of the funniest guys I ever met in my life, man.
He talks only great things about you.
I'm pretty sure he said some other things about me, too. But a good guy, man. Like I said, he's a class act. Glad I met him, and, I just like the guy, man. I just like the guy.
Well, I enjoy you because we have a mutual interest, and that's the National Football League. And you had some time here in the NFL, but the interesting part was what you told me last night about how you grew up to go into the NFL. And you went to kind of not a big time school, like a Big Ten school or SEC school. You were kind of you were drafted out of a lower school, right?
Actually, I went to junior college route.
Okay.
I went to Tyler Junior College for 2 years. After I left there, I ended up going to Texas A&M Kingsville, which is now Texas A&M Kingsville. You're talking about school tradition. I know a lot of people never heard of it, but we have 3 NFL Hall of Famers that came out that school.
Really?
Yeah. We got Darryl Green. We got John Randall from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
We got, and I should not forget this name. Man, he was the what is his name? I had to come back to him.
Yeah, no
worries.
worries.
We got 3 of them, and like I said, you're talking about a small school that most people never heard of. I got drafted out of there. Jermaine Mayberry, another guy that played on the same line with me. Kevin Dargins. You got Robert Garza that used to play for Chicago. You got Al Harris that played for who Al played for? Al played for Green Bay.
Yeah. He had the dreads, right?
Yeah.
So,
man, we for a small school, we was,
produce some players.
We produced some players, man.
Okay, so you go there. Were you always offensive lineman?
I played both for a little while. But once I got, the further you got into college, I had a conversation with one of my coaches, and he pretty much put it online. He said, hey, you could be a good defensive end, but you could be a great offensive tackle.
Really?
And hearing that from him, which a guy that I really do respect. Speaking of which, coached me there. Mm-hmm. And once we all left, he ended up getting the job, the offensive line coaching job at Philly.
For the Eagles?
For the Eagles.
Really?
Juan Castile.
Wow.
Yeah. He, I think last year he was with the Bears. The guy had been in the league almost, I want to say 20-some years,
So he knew what he was talking about.
He knew what he was talking about,
What do you think he saw in you that made him be like, okay, this guy's a good defensive end, but he can be a better offensive lineman? Was it footwork? Was it kind of your mentality? What do you think it was?
I think it's a little bit of both. One thing that I ain't gonna say we did that other teams did do, our offensive line was more aggressive.
Yeah.
It wasn't you wasn't gonna come out there and push us around and none of that.
Yeah.
We had some nasty people on the line.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that you needed to succeed in this game. I'm tired of seeing that people think that your defensive ends are the mean ones, the linebackers and all that. It don't have to be that way.
Right.
And like I said, that's what he coached, that's what we believed, and that's how we played the game.
That's awesome. Now, I want to get to my favorite part and what I feel is one of yours too, getting drafted and going into Green Bay. Can you tell us a little bit about that story and what Coach Holmgren said to you?
That was a weird one. To be honest with you, I talked to Coach Holmgren until I got to Green Bay.
Okay.
I was All-American. I was my conference player of the year. I did great. You know what I mean? I was. We have a version of the Heisman Trophy. It's called a Harlem Hill. I finished pretty high in that. First time for offensive lineman. So, all the accolades was there. The problem was this. A lot of these coaches, NFL coaches, thought the competition I was playing with wasn't up to par as D1. So, I had Dallas coming down every other weekend working me out, doing this, and they was trying to get me into a bowl game.
Okay.
But being at A&I wasn't eligible for it.
Okay.
So, they come to Cleveland, like all these different teams and I guess they was trying to figure it out. Well, Green Bay came down, and the offensive line coach came in. He loved the man to death. He came in. He said, get in your stance. Got in my stance. He's like, let me see you pull right. Okay, came back. Let me see pull left. Came back. Let me see you pass that. Came back. We talked for a little while. He said, let's go inside. That was like it. Cleveland, I was on the field for almost an hour. Duck walking and all this crazy stuff that, to be honest with you, had nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
Dallas the same way. Well, we went in, we started talking about, different stuff to do with football, It's okay, that's cool. And he left. I was like, man, this dude hates me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I said, he done spent less than an hour with me when other teams have spent 2-3 hours with me. So draft day comes, I forgot about that. I went to the combine.
Okay.
One of the, I don't even think John Roundel went to the combine.
Right.
So I was one of the few to go to the combine. And really not knowing what to expect coming from a school I was in, most of these guys, they train. The moment they step on a D1 campus, they training for the combine. We didn't have that. So I ain't gonna lie to you, I blew it. So I'm like, man, I don't know about this one,
Yeah.
So draft day came. I'm really thinking I'll probably go free agent. So I'm not even at the house. I'm around the corner at the car wash. Draft going on. Because to be honest with you, I'm not really a big football fan.
Okay.
I don't really look at it. I look at Green Bay when they play, and once the playoffs come, I look at the playoffs.
Okay.
Go Super Bowl. So I was like, okay, if I get a call, it'll be a free agent call, and we'll go. We'll deal with it when we deal with it. So I'm at the car wash, and I hear like tires squealing, and it's my dad coming around the corner.
What?
He said, hey, man, you gotta get home. They calling. I'm like, nah. So I get home. It's Green Bay. And they drafted me in the 3rd round.
What?
Yeah, and I was, I ain't gonna lie, I was surprised. Didn't know what Green Bay was. But I was happy to be drafted, and I tell you what, that was a life-changing call right there.
What did they say on that call?
It's just, they pretty much asked you, hey, would you like, I don't know why they asked you the question. Cause
it's done.
They know you're going to say yeah. Nobody going to say, no, I don't want to be a Green Bay Packer.
Right.
But they just say, hey, would you like to be a Green Bay Packer? We're taking you in the 3rd round.
Dude, that's so awesome.
And that's what they do, So it's a hell of a day, I didn't have no big parties like most people do. Like, I didn't have friends over. It was just another day to me,
Yeah. Okay, so then you fast forward a little bit. You go to camp. What's the first day of camp like?
I go to camp. I ain't gonna lie. I went to camp a little out of shape. Probably, I still had the mindset that I don't belong here.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you sit here and you got these coaches coming in every week doubting the competition you played against. Mm-hmm. So after a while, it gets in your head like, damn, maybe the competition, because I was a dominant player in our league. So I was like, well, maybe it is that way, So I get there, a little out of shape. The first person I see when I step on the practice field is Reggie White.
No way.
Reggie had just came as a free agent, which, by the way, let me say this, because a lot of people don't understand this, how important it was for Reggie White to come to Green Bay. At one point, yes, Green Bay was the glory years and all that of the NFL. but those days died down, and they took some serious beatings, and it was some ugly years. Well, once Reggie came along, you know, let me back up a little bit. So they would send players to Green Bay, and the running joke was this: if you get something to Green Bay, they're sending you there to retire. Your career is over with. It was that place. You know what I mean? No, come on. In free agency, it's hard to compete against a Dallas, Los Angeles, you know, all these other
marquee
teams.
cities, yeah.
You know, a little small town, probably the same size as Sturgis, probably a little bigger. I'm lying, but a little bigger. Yeah. But nothing to do there. It's just, it's not a place you want to go. So once Reggie came there, that changed the whole culture of Green Bay. See, a lot of people try to say that Brett Favre did. Don't get me wrong. Brett did a lot for Green Bay, but Reggie changed the whole culture. Because now, when a free agent looked at Green Bay, they was like, oh, you know, Reggie White went there. You know, he's no slouch, you know. And if he went there, like, it changed the whole thing. Now, all of a sudden, guys are looking at Green Bay in a whole different light, you know. So we get him. We get Brett Favre. I'm in home first draft class. So it's pretty much me, Wayne Simmons, rest in peace. He actually played for Kansas.
Really?
His last couple of years, he died in a car wreck. Good guy, hell of a linebacker. Wayne Simmons. Who else was it? Man, we had some really good guys, and everybody within leading up to that first Super Bowl could trip you. You know, the whole draft class. So I get out there, and you know, and thank God it's just like first day, you know, it's just helmets. I'm going through it. I'm like, I'm kind of seeing like, okay, these guys really ain't all that. You know, don't get me wrong, they are good, but they ain't what these scouts that was talking to me, that was coming down there, they made me believe a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, and once I kind of clicked on that, it was over, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I had my first year was a rough one. Dislocated my elbow in one of the games. So I ended up missing the season with that. But after that, man, once we got going in '96, you know, I had a great year, you know, a great year.
What were practices like with Reggie White on the opposite side of the football?
You know, it depends. Like, you know, Reggie's been around long enough. He didn't have to go full speed all the time. Matter of fact, he didn't really like going full speed all the time. Because let's be real, you know, the guy that been in the league for quite a while, he's saving it for Sundays. So as long as you don't piss him off or curse at him, the worst thing you can ever do is curse at Reggie White.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's practice or a game. You're setting yourself up for failure, you know? Because I done seen this, you know, I tell people, Reggie was a grown man playing a kid's game.
Yeah.
You know, I done seen this guy, you know, the hump move he does, right?
Yep.
I done seen him throw 330-pound guys 5 yards with one arm.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you kind of wanted to, joke with him the whole practice and make sure he was in a good mood. And went pretty good, man. He helped me a whole lot. He really did help me. He was a wonderful person on and off the field.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I owe a lot to him.
I think a question that every football person wants to know is what it's like to be in a huddle with Brett Favre. What's that like? Take us to that moment when you get in a huddle with a guy like Brett Favre.
Brandon, it's another one that I think he was a key part of the puzzle. You know, Reggie was a big part, but Brett was too. And, you know, the guy's just a natural-born leader. You know, I hear the comparisons between him and Aaron Rodgers all the time. You know, I can't speak on Aaron Rodgers, a hell of a talent. But what I can say is this. Brett was a hell of a leader. He's a hell of a football player. He's a tough one, too. You know, we'll be in the huddle. I don't care if we down 21 points. There's no panic in his voice. There's no, you know, come on, guys, like, get your shit together and that. This dude is joking.
Yeah.
You know, he's making fun of the score and everything else. And then he'll tell you, like, come on, let's go ahead and get this game. And like I said, when you have somebody who, hands down, is the leader of this squad, and he was the leader of our offense, and he's calm enough when we're down like that, it kind of trickles down to every player. And like I said, man, he was amazing person, man, amazing person.
I want you to take us to that Super Bowl season really quick. Now, did you guys come into that season thinking that you were going to be top? Or?
That goes right back to what I said about Favre. And speak on it because you already know he had a little problem with the rehab, with the pills. Cleaned up, came back before the season started. During preseason, he told the press, "We're gonna win the Super Bowl."
He did.
Oh yes,
really?
Go back and look it up.
Okay,
he called it. And like I said, that's just the confidence this guy had. And man, but to be honest with you, we had every piece of the puzzle, and we had all the talent. I mean, we were steamrolling Cats that year.
Yeah,
it was a fun time to be a Packer. And like I said, I meet fans nowadays, and they tell me all the time, it's like, hey, that was the funnest era in Green Bay history. Those years we had, because I mean we kicked some butt, man.
Yeah.
Like, we was a good ass team,
Yeah. What do you think Coach Holmgren did to kind of keep all those key pieces together and do things the right way?
In my opinion, the best thing he did was weeded out guys who would be problems, and never brought in a guy just for talent. If you'd have fit into the chemistry our team had, I don't care how talented you was out of there. We had this one guy that he brought in, defensive end. We needed a backup end. This guy was real good, and he was kind of working one of our tackles on one-on-one. But every time he'll beat him, talking to us, and being there for a while. The guys, we sitting there thinking, yeah, he'll be gone after practice, And yeah, he was going after practice.
Just cut him.
Yeah, because, we wasn't a team like that. Our chemistry meant more than talent. And if you look around right now in the NFL, you got teams with all the talent in the world. Look at Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas been having talent for the last how many years and haven't been able to do it? It's not because of the coaching. It's not because of the player. It's because they have no chemistry. If you're not willing to play for the guy next to you all out and look at him as your brother and family, you'll never win. And that's what we had. We was a tight unit. And like I said, we were more like a family. To this day, when I go back and do autograph shows or charity work, with a Gilbert Brown, a Santana, Doug Evans, I mean, all these guys, Darcy Levens, we're still like a family. It's like we never skipped a beat. We don't have to talk for a year, but as soon as we back together, we're family, And a lot of teams never had that.
And that's a great way to put it, man. That special bond that's kind of not just winning football games, but like you just said, a bond that can't be broken.
Yes, sir. That's what it was.
Now, Earl, I want to talk about kind of going into the playoffs that year. I know you said you were good. Now, were you guys the number 1 seed going into the playoffs that year?
Yes.
So you had all games at Lambeau.
Man, you know what? To be honest with you, we should have went undefeated that year.
Really?
We had 2 hiccups. Well, I mean, it was a powerhouse, man. So yeah, we dropped 2 games. We end up we still was the number 1 seed, and we had home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The first game, man, my memory is a little hazy here.
That's all right.
Was it San Fran? I don't remember. I really don't remember that game, to be honest with you.
Look it up quick.
Yeah, because I've been hit upside the head a couple times.
That's all right, man. It's all good. Look it up here.
I don't know why I want to say San Fran.
Packers 96 playoffs. Okay, so you beat the Niners in the divisional round.
There we go.
Yeah,
San
you
Fran.
were right. And then it says Panthers in the NFC Championship.
So we get San Fran. And, another one of our rivals. also the organization that Coach Holmgren came from.
Ooh,
So yeah, that he came under that Bill Warris umbrella of coaching. You know what I mean? Which I mean, some good coaches came from under them. So we play San Fran. I mean, great game. We win it. I want to say that's the. It was raining and it was real money.
Okay.
I got a picture of it. I mean, it's one of. I mean, just. It's one of the best pictures I done found of myself, which kind of sucks because I can't even use it because the photographer owned the rights to it. But anyway, so beat them. Well, the years before, we ended up going to Dallas every year, playing them in Dallas. I don't know why. We just never get past that hump. So we had finally got home field advantage. So like I said, we wasn't going to be stopped. So we ran through San Fran. Jacksonville come along. Darryl Green, around the time to where, you know, he was close to retiring, so he won a ring pretty bad. You know, and you know, a lot of people don't understand this. We was playing not just for a ring for ourselves. We was playing for a ring for Reggie White. You know, Reggie had been in the league, I think at that time, he was already on his, ninth year? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Never had a ring, never went far in the playoffs, but just always was a dominant player. So we set out that year to get this guy a ring. You know, it was no way we wanted this guy to leave the NFL without a ring for all the stuff he done did and sacrificed for the players. You know, the strike, the walkout, all that, to try to get players a better deal in the NFL. So we go into that game, and man, you know, we stay in a hotel the night before, have our meetings, all that. The next morning, you break. That morning, go home, get ready, head to the stadium. I used to live, I want to say, 3 blocks from the stadium.
From Lambeau?
From Lambeau, in a town called Ashwaubenon.
Okay.
Which is funny because all you got to do cross the street and you're in Green Bay. That's how small Green Bay is.
Yeah.
So stayed there, me, Gilbert Brown was my neighbor, and then Doug Evans. We all not Doug Evans, Gabe Wilkinson. We all lived on that same street. So they took off. I'm a little late getting going. Get my stuff packed. I open the garage. They got cars parked in my driveway.
Oh.
You know, fast. You know, Green Bay didn't have parking at that time. So wherever you could get in, you got in, you know, and 2 cars. So I'm thinking like, man, I don't want to be a jerk today, you know. I'm trying to stay focused. This is a big game.
Big game.
So I let it slide. I just walked to work. It's 3 blocks. It's not going to kill me, you know.
So you had to walk to the
I had to walk to the NFC Championship. And I get there, play the game. I mean, once again, I mean, we destroyed them, you know. And like I said, you had the feeling. You just knew it. You just knew it. You know, we've been waiting for this moment forever. We could never get past Dallas. We finally here. And like I said, there's no way in the hell we was going to lose that game. And won. And, man, you know, all of a sudden, here you go. The eruption from the fans. You know, Green Bay is back, you know, title town.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole scenery with one game that changed Green Bay. I mean, I don't know how that's the best way I could describe it. That one game changed Green Bay, you know, to now. Like, there is what we did, you could still see it affecting Green Bay now. You know, Green Bay has changed a lot since I was there.
Yeah.
And it's because once you start winning, money start coming, things start changing. You know. So anyway, after the game, I get dressed, you know, trying to go to the house. I said, man, you know, I'm gonna just go ahead and walk back home. It's, you know, it's right here. Man, I walk home, I'm in a good mood, and it's like people from house to house, you know, you want to drink? You want to drink? You know, I get home, I'm damn near drunk. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's the best memory. I don't think it could be a better memory than something like that for a experience like that. Because what it says is this. You have an NFL franchise that is owned by the people of Green Bay. It's the smallest town to have city. It's the smallest city to have an NFL team. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you could play an NFL game and walk home, you could never do that anywhere else.
Nope.
You know, that's the epitome of America.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people, you know, you sit here and they talk about, Dallas, America team. Man, lucky I can curse on this. But Dallas is not America's team. You know, just because Jerry Jones say it is, they say it is. But it's not. You know, Green Bay, like I said, if you want to see America's team, you got to visit Green Bay.
Yeah.
And see how, and don't get me wrong, it has changed. And unfortunately, it's I guess you got to keep up with the times. But you still got that small town, bare knuckle, you know, dirt in the sand football. And you got hard-working, blue-collar people that no matter what, support their team. And like I said, that's America's team.
Yeah,
you know?
man. I like that. So actually walking to work was a blessing in disguise because walking back, you got to have an experience that if you would have drove, you never would have thought of doing that.
You know, would have never thought of it. If you was in, like say, Kansas City, you can't walk home.
Yeah.
If you was in Dallas, you can't walk. Dallas Stadium in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's all this. This is the only NFL team you could even imagine doing that.
Okay, so now you win the NFC Championship. Okay, now we got 2 weeks till the Super Bowl.
Yes.
What is that like? Tell us as a fan what that's like.
It was amazing. You know, like I said, nervous. Mm-hmm. You know, because now I said, you know, I'm in the league 3 years. You know, when this happened, I'm still young.
Yeah.
You know, you got guys played their whole career and never made it to this game. You know, and then we playing the game in New Orleans. And that's a crazy.
The game was in New Orleans?
It was in New Orleans, yeah.
So that's where Brett Favre is from.
Yes, Brett is from that area, from Mississippi.
Wow.
He's from Mississippi around there. So,
right.
You know, it's you know, we know this is going to be a big one. You know, we done got some key players. You know, Desmond Howard. Man,
talk about a GOAT.
Man, nah, you talking about deserving of the MVP. You know, which he did. I know I'm jumping a little bit, but he was MVP all year, not just that game. You know, when you could start a drive on a 35, 40-yard line, you know.
It's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, love Desmond to death, man. You know, he had a rocky start in the NFL. People gave up on him. He came to Green Bay, and he showed why he won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
And, man, like I said, every time I see this dude, like, I just smile because I'm happy
that he went
and he proved the naysayers wrong. You know, we got Andre.
Sorry about that, Earl. We had a little battery problem, but we're back up. But before we left, we were talking about going into Super Bowl week.
Yes. Like I said, we had just beat San Fran. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's time for what did we leave off at?
We were talking about Brett Favre's homecoming at
New Orleans.
New Orleans, yep.
New Orleans. Well, not just Brett Favre. You know, that's another homecoming that a lot of people know. I don't know if you know about it. We had brought in Jimmy Mack.
Okay.
From Chicago.
Yep.
Jim McMahon, hell of a guy. I love that dude. Brought him in. Well, when he was playing for the Bears back in the 80s when they was dominating teams, we get there, you know, it's New Orleans. You got Bourbon Street. You got everything that comes with it. You know, we would practice in the morning, a little walk through an hour or something like that, and cut us free. You know, got to enjoy New Orleans. Had a curfew.
Yeah.
You know, building up. You know, come into, you know, game day. You know, nerves are running high. You know, like I said, this is, you know, I don't think I understood it at the moment, you know, because like I said, I was young. You know, I came from a small school that if they had 800 people, that's a sold-out stadium.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from that kind of small school. You know, so now I'm walking into the Superdome, about to play in a Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, you know. So man, we find out they're gonna introduce the offense.
Oh.
Which in itself is, come on, you can't beat that. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, your first Super Bowl, you're a young kid, and on the biggest stage, and they're gonna introduce you coming out the tunnel. You know. I mean, you talking about if you can't get hyped for a game after that, you might as well just go ahead and jump in a grave and let me kick dirt on you. You know what I mean? So we get out there, man, and call, you know, you're fired up, team fired up, and we get out, and Desmond they kick it to Desmond. I don't know why they did that. You know, great field position. You know, I forgot the play we had called, but we audible. I remember that. I remember looking back because I couldn't hear. So I looked back at my guard, and I actually, you know, the audible. What it did, it kept the tight end in. So as I said, I could either help him or I'll come back. So I looked out, I slide in. Next thing I know, I see the ball in the air. Antonio Freeman, you know. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and just know, I don't know the exact yardage, but it was about 70 yards, touchdown.
No shit.
You know, to start a game, like, that's big time.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, that's big time. Defense come out, you know, stop them, give them to them, you know. I mean, it's just, we knew it. And we got off to a great start. But like every other team, you know, they're going to adjust. You know, they adjust. The game kind of slowed down. Saw the comeback, you know. Andre Rison go for almost 70. You know, and I was so happy to see that too because, you know, at one point, you know, they don't call it a bad move for nothing, you know. But at one point, a lot of teams gave up on Andre. You know, and I think what it was is that they were scared to gamble with him.
Right.
Green Bay took a gamble. And I don't even want to call it a gamble because, like I said, they knew the talent they was going to get. You know, the guy is a hell of a receiver. So he comes in, and I think what really did it for him, and you know I'm speaking for him, but I know the guy. I think it's because he came into a team that accepted him for who he was. He came in for a team that he fit in with. You know, it wasn't Atlanta. It wasn't none of that. It was a small town Green Bay with guys that he got along with.
Yeah.
You know, and man, I was so happy to see him get one. You know, now the game is kind of back and forth. New England, you know, it's coming down. Like we almost gave the game away. You know, later in the game, Desmond takes it the distance. You know, he had
a punt or a kick?
A kick.
Really?
Yeah, kickoff. He takes it a distance. You know, so now we up, but now we got a hole, and this is when you know greatness. You know, greatness is when it's not when you up 30 points. You know, you find greatness when this is the time. This is what we need. It's on the line. Man, to offensive lineman and defensive lineman, what Reggie did those last I want to say 4 plays was a work of art, man. You know, I feel sad for the kid that he did it to, but man, you know, he comes off, he bull rushed the kid, gets a sack.
Yeah.
Now this kid is, you know, I'm talking from a lineman because I'm a lineman. So now your head is thinking, okay, man, like shit. You know, and
I gotta start backpedaling right over.
You know, I gotta, you know, now I gotta sit down now because, you know, bull rushed me, you know, Reggie went around him. Now it's like, so now you think like, oh, what do I do here now, you know? So now you're gonna rush out. Reggie clubbed him and came inside. Like, I think I could be wrong, but I think it was 3 sacks on the last 4 plays.
What?
To end the game.
Oh my God, GOAT.
Exactly. So that's why when people ask me who's the best player to ever played against or ever played, it's Reggie White.
Hell yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if you talk to most of your defensive ends right now, if they don't have Reggie White up there highly, they're lying to you. You know, they're lying to you. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. And then you hear the whistle go off, fireworks, confetti, the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at that point, I don't think it hit me yet. You know, I never played in a game that big. You know, I don't win state in high school.
Right.
I don't win a national championship in college. You know, this was the biggest game I ever played in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it set in at the time. You know, I had messed my knee up in the game. I want to say second quarter, something like that. So that was killing me. So I didn't really stick around for a lot of the fanfare, a lot of the confetti, the speeches and that. Kind of just took it into the locker room, you know? And it hit me, I want to say probably a good 5-6 years after I retired.
What? Really?
And that's when it hit me. That's when I was like, you know what, goddamn. Like, I won a Super Bowl.
I did it.
I did it, you know what I mean? But at the moment, just, I don't know, something wasn't there at the moment, you know? But I knew I was part of something special. I knew I did it with a group of guys that I loved, a group of guys that, like I said, I'm glad we did it as a team. And I think that meant more to me than anything, you know?
Yeah, exactly what you said. So talk a little bit about the parade, because I mean the Super Bowl winning parade. You know, Green Bay.
Our parade was a lot different than most teams. You know, so keep in mind when we won Super Bowl. I can't speak for everybody, but I know me and my friend, we partied all night.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you just came in, got your bags, got on the bus, went to the plane. You know, It was one of those parties, right? So we get on the plane. You're leaving New Orleans. You got on shorts, you know, short sleeve shirts, titties, all that, right? We get to Green Bay. Keep in mind, it's snowing and cold as hell in Green Bay at this time of the year. They say, okay, we get to we land, we get to tarmac. There's a bus there with no windows. The windows are down. I'm like, what the? So they put us on this bus. They drive us to the outskirts of town, freezing, and put us on another bus like that. And we creep all the way from the outskirts of town into the stadium, freezing our butts off, right?
Yeah.
But here go the point. This is the point that I'll never forget. We get on Lombardi Avenue, which at the time I'm not quite sure what it was called, and the bus could barely make it through the streets.
Just
it
people.
Was, and I'm talking about you got snow, you know, because winter, you from North Dakota, right?
Yep.
So you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
When the snow plows come, you got people standing on that. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, I can't put a number on, but I mean, it was enough to fill our stadium once we got, and that was the people in the stadium. We felt the whole Green Bay stadium was packed. Then you had all these people outside. I mean, people were almost getting ran over. I mean, it was, like I said, it brought back Title Town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I said, that's a memory I would never forget. You know, then we get off the bus, get in the stadium, and like I said, the stadium is full to capacity. You know, just to welcome us home, man. It was amazing, man. It was a hell of a feeling, you know.
Oh, I'm sure, and talk about a feeling. What was post game with Coach Holmgren? That's one thing I was really interested in. What's post game like with Coach after the big Super Bowl W?
Kind of how you see how he is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he was happy as hell.
Yeah,
but he was already planning for next year.
Was he?
He was already talking about what we could have did better and all this. You know what I mean? Which that's what good coaches do. Mm-hmm. You can't sit there and just because you won one, think, okay, I done did my job.
Yeah.
He was already thinking about the next step, the next year, what we had to improve, who we had to plug in to make the position better. And like I said, that's what made him a great coach.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And one thing now that you've kind of moved on, you said you keep in contact with quite a few of the guys.
Yes.
When's the last time you talked to Brett Favre?
I saw Favre. When was that? We had a alumni weekend. Alumni weekend last year. He was at the game. So like I said, usually I see him about once a year or something like that. You know, he kind of big time, so he really don't hang out with us like that.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. But now, you know, he a good guy. But yeah, I saw him about a year ago. Yeah.
And it's the same as just like you were saying, the bond created. He just goes, "Hey man, how's it going?"
It's
very low key.
You know, we spent 10 years together.
Yeah.
You know, some guys even longer. It's like, you know, it's a family.
What did you think of when he retired, unretired, stuff like that? When he went to Minnesota, had some good success there, and then he retired. What were your thoughts on that? I was always curious.
I think when you play this game, it's hard to sit there and let somebody just take it from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta understand, when you're in high school and you get a college just looking at you, as a college, you are the 1% of those high school players.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to think about how many high schools we have in the United States and how many scholarships they have to give out. You know what I mean? So you are the 1%. So you don't work your butt off. You don't fall. You don't scrape to become that. Then you go to college. You're with a whole group of 1%ers. Then all of a sudden you got to fight, you know, scratch, claw to get out of there to be the 1% of that group to make it to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I don't know what the numbers is, but compared to all the college football players, it's a very small number that make it to that next level.
Yeah.
And so as I say, you don't fought your ass off to get there. So for you to end up coming to the NFL, once again, now you got to fight again.
Right.
To get this position and hold on to the starting position. And then one day you got a team that tells you, you know what, he's getting a little up in age. You know, we got to find somebody else.
Right.
You know, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
You know, because now you don't have a fighting chance. They made the decision for you.
Right.
You know, they went out and they found somebody that they think, okay, you know what, once we put, I hate to say this, put him out the pasture, we got his back right there.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, I think Brett saw it as a challenge. So, okay, you know, you think I have anything left to offer? I'll show you. You know, so when, you know, they did what they did, and like I said, it's an ugly thing that happens, but it's part of our profession. You know, we all know at some point, somebody younger or somebody better, they will find them, and they would take our position. Either we would get to the age to where it's time to retire, or the kid is just better, you know? Yeah. But Brent still has some game left in him.
Dude, he was a baller still.
Yeah, you know, so he had to go to the Jets first.
Yep.
Because he couldn't play in the same conference right after that. So he did, went to Minnesota. And I really think, I don't know if I can say this, I really think going to Minnesota was a big finger to the Packers. You know, he just wanted the opportunity to play and beat the Packers.
Yeah,
and he did that.
Yep.
You know, and like I said, all that is this. That's you being a competitor. That's you being a competitor all your life, and no telling what people used to say about you, and we all have been through it. You know, what people said about you. You stepped on that field, you showed them that they was wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, or like we were talking about earlier about this podcast when you're asking me, hey, what's swim lessons about? So at the end of each podcast, I like to ask my guests what is something they live by, because the thing of this podcast is so people can listen to it, maybe take some, apply it to their everyday lives to kind of get through the tough times. It's kind of what we talked about. So what's something that you do?
It's easy. It's easy. And you know what? I don't live by this for the longest, and I think it's been good to me. It's the easiest thing you could do. you treat people how you want to be treated. You know, and if you want people to respect you, you respect them. I think we done lost touch with that nowadays in society. You know, it shouldn't be about me all the time. Like I said, if you want to be treated with respect, you get respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the way you act towards people will come back. And I done made so many friends just living by that one little principle. You know, I will respect you. You know, I'm gonna treat you like I want to be treated, just like when you met.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know you from anybody.
Yeah.
Introduced myself. We shook hands, and we went from there.
Yeah.
And look where we at now.
Yeah, man.
You know, that's the easiest thing to do. And like I said, we got to get back to that, because the way we're going right now, you know, I'm seeing more hate than I'm seeing love around the United States right now.
And that's troubling.
It's very troubling.
Yeah.
It's very troubling. Like I said, you know, it's either, you know, we live in harmony together, or we gonna die in hell together.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, just going back to what you said about the team aspect of things, it's about us, not about me.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. That's what a team is.
Mm-hmm.
A team is not a I, you know, or me. A team is a team.
Yeah.
You know, a team is a family unit. You know, a strong family unit could overcome anything.
Mm-hmm.
A strong team can overcome anything. You know, at one point, you know, the United States was, you know, we was working towards becoming this one nation under God that we speak of.
Yeah.
But right now, I feel like we got powers to be right now that are turning people against people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and that's troubling to me.
Yeah, we got to bond together.
Yes.
Well, man, dude, I really appreciate you walking us through kind of your career, your Green Bay super season, if you will, and kind of touching base on some things. And man, where can people find you? Do you have any social media or anything you want to plug? Any charity work or anything?
At the moment, man, you kind of caught me off guard on this.
That's all right.
So no, can't hear you. At the moment, no, not right now.
We'll post it on. I'll tell you what. We'll post it on the bio when we post this on podcast.
That'll work for me.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, man. I appreciate you. And like I said, it's been an honor to meet you at Sturgis and kind of hang out and shout out Todd Bailey for introducing us and thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
That's a wrap, folks. Thanks.
I told you it's gonna be a party.